Hi. I love you too.
Peace is happening around our world.
Peace News number 58 of many and counting.
There are many countries promoting peace and fostering amity among peoples and governments, etc.
January 2024. In remarks to celebrate the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations between China and France, the President of China, His Excellency Xi Jinping, states that the two countries should work collaboratively together for peaceful global relations and humanity's advancement. By creating peace, we all can make a loving, serene, and prosperous world.
You will know the future of our people by what face the light-skinned race wears. If they come wearing the face of Nikonisiwin, brotherhood, then there will come a time of wonderful change for generations to come. If they come carrying a weapon, beware. If they come in suffering,
Please continue watching for Prophecy Part 299, North American First Nations Prophecies, the Seven Fires, the Rainbow Warriors, and the Rise of the Phoenix.
Vegan, welcome to heaven.
Do you want your glasses back on? There we go. What do you think? You like them? Here, give me your paw. Good girl. Can you pound it? Do you like them? Do you want me to take them off? No? Okay.
Cheerful viewers, after attending a fun-filled Midsummer Moon Festival with some gregarious Potawatomi First Nation citizens, you can delight them by saying Winnet. That means it's good in Potawatomi language. My name is Topin B, meaning he who sits quietly. Learning traditional songs and dances from the elders is a great way to foster loving relationships among different generations and to preserve one's cultural heritage. The artistic Potawatomi First Nation people are happy that you're able to do so. May your life be enriched by many beautiful moments of happiness and laughter shared with loved ones under heaven's benevolent watch. With humanity at a crossroads, we wonder whether we'll plunge into devastation or take flight and soar. As our hearts yearn to know our destiny, we turn to the clues and messages left by seers, saints, and prophets of the past. In divine guidance, let's explore their visions and predictions that can help us navigate today's troubled waters and reach the shore of a better, brighter tomorrow. More than 1,000 years ago, along the Atlantic Ocean on the northeast coast of today's Canada and United States, lived a collective group of First Nations people called the Anishinaabe. Though commonly translated as original man or the good humans, the word Anishinaabe can also mean spontaneous beings. Oral storytellers claim that in those days the Anishinaabe were so many and powerful that if one were to climb to the highest mountain and look in all directions, they would not be able to see the end of the nation. Living harmoniously in a close-knit and organized clan system, all citizens had assignments or duties to fulfill that contributed to the greater good of the nation. They were berry pickers, stone carvers, canoe makers, and more. Planters who raised food for Mother Earth had a poetic name, keepers of the Creator's garden. There was active communication among all groups of people. The Anishinaabe adhered to the 7 grandfather teachings, which are wisdom, love, respect, bravery, honesty, humility, and truth. They also believed that each species of living being has a Manitou, or spirit, that oversees their movements and presence on Earth. The Anishinaabe First Nation is comprised of several subgroups, including the Ojibwe, Chippewa, Saulteaux, Nipissing, Mississauga, Odawa, and Potawatomi. They share a common language and cultural heritage. Additionally, the Anishinaabe people have intermarried with other indigenous nations over time, resulting in groups like the Oji-Cree and Métis. For at least 600 years, a prophecy has been passed down through a lineage of the Anishinaabe keepers that predicts the future of their own people as well as the fate of the light-skinned race, leading all the way to the end of the world and the possible emergence of a new world. It's called the 7 Fires Prophecy. The prophecy is depicted on a traditional wampum belt, a document created by First Nations people to record historical events and treaty agreements among themselves and with European settlers. The Honorable Edward Benton Benet, also known as Bidwewidun, a spiritual teacher of the Ojibwe First Nation, is often credited with bringing forth the prophecy through his publication of the Mishomis book, The Voice of the Ojibwe, in 1988. Mishomis is an Ojibwe word for grandfather. Since then, the message has been gaining increased interest because all of the 7 prophecies appear to have been fulfilled in one way or another. According to the Mishomis book, The Voice of the Ojibwe, the prophecy came in a time of peace and abundance, when one day 7 prophets appeared out of the Atlantic Ocean and visited the Anishinaabe, instructing them to prepare for a great calamity that would befall their land and people. Each prophet gave them a fire or a prophecy pertaining to an event that would happen at a particular time in the future. Thus, the messages of the 7 prophets are called the 7 Fires. The first three prophets told the Anishinaabe that they must migrate west, away from their home on the northeastern coast to a new land where food grows on water. If they did not, they would face destruction. The prophets told the people to follow their sacred migis, a shell used in spiritual ceremonies, and it would lead them to the chosen ground. Heeding their advice, around 900 AD, some of the Anishinaabe began moving west, an event known as the Great Migration. Along their journey, the sacred migis shell guided them to 7 stopping places, which included present-day Montreal, Quebec, Niagara Falls, the Detroit River in Michigan, Manitoulin Island in Lake Huron, Sault Ste. Marie, Spirit Island in Duluth, Minnesota, and Madeline Island in Lake Superior. Once the Anishinaabe discovered minomen, or wild rice, an edible grain that grows out of the Great Lakes and surrounding freshwater sources, they knew instinctively that they had found the food that grows on water as foretold by the prophecy. It's said that it took them 500 years to complete the journey and settle in the Great Lakes region of North America. Madeline Island became the spiritual and economic center of the Anishinaabe Nation. At its peak, an estimated 10,000 First Nations people are said to have resided on the island. On the other hand, the Anishinaabe who chose not to migrate were the first to encounter European colonists who sailed to the shores of the northeastern coastline in the 1500s and 1600s. In less than 200 years, the indigenous population in the area suffered great traumas, and their numbers fell from approximately 30,000 to around 300 due to diseases, violence, and conflicts. Sadly, their fate also fulfilled the prophecy. The fourth fire was given to the Anishinaabe by 2 prophets who came together. The first one said,
"You will know the future of our people by what face the light-skinned race wears. If they come wearing the face of Nikonisiwin, brotherhood, then there will come a time of wonderful change for generations to come. They will bring new knowledge and articles that can be joined with the knowledge of this country. In this way, 2 nations will join to make a mighty nation. This new nation will be joined by 2 more, so that the 4 will form the mightiest nation of all. You will know the face of brotherhood if the light-skinned race comes carrying no weapons, if they come bearing only their knowledge and a handshake."
It's commonly understood that the 4 races referred to the red, Indian, white, European, black, African, and yellow, Asian. The other prophet said,
"Beware if the light-skinned race comes wearing the face of Nibuwin, death. You must be careful because the face of brotherhood and the face of death look very much alike. If they come carrying a weapon, beware. If they come in suffering, they could fool you. Their hearts may be filled with the greed of the riches of this land. Do not accept them in total trust. You shall know if the face they wear is one of death, if the rivers run with poison."
History shows that both of these prophecies have materialized to a greater or lesser degree. The light-skinned race did come, some wearing the face of brotherhood and others wearing the face of death. In the Great Lakes region during the early 1600s, French explorers such as Samuel de Champlain made contact with the Anishinaabe. They sought only trade and brought many gifts, including metal knives, axes, kettles and pots, woven cloth, coats, and colored glass beads. These people came in brotherhood and were welcomed by the First Nations people. The Anishinaabe incorporated the French into their society through peace rituals and marriage, which birthed part of the Métis indigenous community. However, the Anishinaabe on the northeast coast met new settlers wearing a completely different face. As the prophecy foretold, their rivers did run with poison, with what experts now believe to be leptospirosis, a zoonotic disease that arrived with the ships. The poison claimed countless indigenous lives. Many First Nations peoples' villages were destroyed, along with the garden paradise the Anishinaabe had tended for thousands of years. Thus, both sides of the 4th prophecy were fulfilled. The fifth prophet said,
In the time of the fifth fire, there will come a time of great struggle that will grip the lives of all native people. At the waning of this fire, there will come among the people one who holds a promise of great joy and salvation. If the people accept this promise of a new way and abandon the old teachings, then the struggle of the fifth fire will be with the people for many generations. The promise that comes will prove to be a false promise. All those who accept this promise will cause the near destruction of the people.
As it turned out, the French and English explorers brought missionaries who managed to convert many Anishinaabe away from the teachings of their elders with promises of eternal salvation through their own belief system. European traders enticed the First Nations people to abandon their traditional way of life for economic development and prosperity through large-scale trade. As more and more challenging measures were imposed upon the Anishinaabe people, their traditional way of life quickly declined. Thus, the struggle of the fifth fire was with the people for many generations, and the time of the sixth fire had come. We'll examine the remaining prophecies of the seven fires in the next episode.
The most powerful daily prayer for any time and before meditation, which is the order from God, and Supreme Master Ching Hai shares with us by His blessed grace.
We humbly worship, praise, thank, obey, and love God Almighty, the Most High, the greatest, for world vegan, world peace, and our soul liberation. We thank, love, praise the only Son of God, who is the ultimate Master for our salvation. We follow the teaching of all the saints and sages. We thank, love, and praise them, who are the representatives of God for our spiritual elevation.
There's every reason to believe that veganism is the future of farming. It is kinder, healthier, more efficient, less wasteful, and more climate friendly. Gustav Soderfeldt, vegan.
Respectful viewers, it's been a pleasure to have you with us today. Please join us again next week for more North American First Nations prophecies, the Seven Fires, the Rainbow Warriors, and the Rise of the Phoenix. Coming up next is Inner Experience, Heaven's Campaign Rally for President Donald Trump. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. May your kind words and actions bring smiles and comfort to others in Heaven's delight.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds he'll not reach.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/AP.
برامجنا متوفرة بالعديد من اللغات. يرجى زيارة suprememastertv.com/schedule و suprememastertv.com/AP.
Also, be sure to follow us on our socials: YouTube, Facebook, Getter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Nico, Pinterest, Reddit, Substack, Telegram, Threads, TikTok, Truth Social, Tumblr, VK and X, previously known as Twitter, in multiple languages by searching Supreme Master TV.